Hey folks, you've got a lucky treat today. Someone who knows what they're doing. Dave's here to give me a bit of a crash course in some welding, proper farm style. So stick around and we're going to make a start. This is different from the little welder I've got. This is a stick welder. Or is arc welding the same? Same thing?
They're technically all processed arc welded, but that is what they're commonly known as,
okay.
As an arc welder.
So it's a stick welder, and for now we put this plug on, which is a 16 amp plug.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But this would go on a 13 amp, but it would just be limited, right?
Yes. So essentially, if you put a 13 amp plug on, you'll be limited to electrode size and length of time of welding. With this, you're virtually unlimited.
So this, funny enough, they're only up the road, this company. R-Tech is where I bought it from, and I think it was about £180 for everything, plus a few consumables. So pretty low startup cost.
So your power supply's on the back.
Yeah.
And that's just your amperage control there. So.
And that's it.
Pretty much it. And it will do lift TIG as well, but that's
for another day.
Yeah, that's going to be for a very another day.
Right, we're going to start off in here in the barn, which is kind of like a bit of a metalworking area, and learn a few basics, I hope. And then later on, we're just going to do a few little jobs that need fixing. Got lights. So that's the amps,
Amperage,
right?
Yep.
Okay.
The voltage kind of is irrelevant. It's all amperage-based control for welding rods. So.
Yeah. But what about twist to lock it, does it?
Yep. That's all we do. I do prefer the bigger DINs connectors, but this is it's affordable gear for people to learn with and to expand on their skills.
So what if you were going to start welding? Is this the best thing to learn basic techniques on, or is it better to like a flux core MIG?
With learning, you buy what you can afford. So if you want to get into welding, what a lot of people tend to do is that they buy the more expensive machine, but then realise they can't afford the PPE.
Yeah.
I'd rather people buy a machine that's affordable, and especially with R-Tech, from what I've heard, that their after sales is phenomenal, and get proper leather jacket, wear jeans or overalls, gloves, and a half decent welding mask, because the safety aspect's probably more important than just jumping in. Yeah. Once you've got the machine and you're practicing, at least you know you're safe. That's more of my take on things.
Good shout. That's a very sensible answer, that, Dave. Very sensible.
I learned the hard way, so I learned literally with a piece of glass.
We're going to do a few bits of test work in here and hopefully learn a few skills along the way. I've dug out my PPE and kind of gear from my little projects in the past, but we'll see what else I might need. Obviously we've got to prep up some of this steel. What we're going to try and use is, we're going to go full on farmy. We're going to try and use a load of the stuff I've already got here. So there's some old plate from when Dave came up last year and did some structural work. A load of old box and angle from my little barbecue build, where I kind of tried to teach myself how to weld a few years back.
Yeah, you got 2.5 there.
Yeah.
And you got 3.2 there. And your amperage settings are 60 to 110 for 2.5.
So that's the thickness of the steel you're welding?
No, that's the thickness of rod.
Oh, see, this table.
Yeah, so this table tells you the thickness of rod, and it tells your amperage settings. I'll actually go all the way through. Should do.
So you're going to weld it in the vise?
It'd probably be comfortable for you.
Okay, well, it's a little bit higher.
I always try to keep my machines, if I'm on anything metal, I try to keep them off just in case. Because I don't know how sensitive. Like with old school like transformer weld, I don't really care about it, but because he's got all special technologies in them,
Yeah.
don't really know what would happen.
And what about the extract, like you have a hood thing in the workshop? And
Yeah,
stuff
we
sometimes,
have a
don't you?
localized extraction, and it's pretty good.
The basics of these are that material in the middle is basically the material we're putting down.
Yep.
And what's on the outside here
Well,
is...
that's a flux, but that's got like alloy in it, not elements. It's got
So that's shielding it, basically.
yeah, that shields it from the atmosphere, and it's going to have like deoxidizers and various other things inside the flux.
Okay.
To help the rod burn and stabilize it and
So
various other things.
the 6013,
Yep.
we just need to keep dry.
Yes.
And what's the other one that you used on the barn that you...
7018. That's a low hydrogen rod. Once they're open, they have to either be stored in a quiver or oven.
Yeah.
Or thrown away. This, ideally, you see that little point there?
Yeah.
That's like the perfect contact with that.
Okay.
What you do is you just touch the material.
And the reason for it being too hot is too much amperage.
Yeah, too much amperage.
So do you get much better with...
Not really.
No.
You will, with all welding pros, you're going to get some.
Yeah.
But I noticed it was too fast because I had to pick up the travel speed.
Okay. And that's the sort of width you would want?
Yeah, roughly about that. I started speeding up a little bit there, so that ideal there is probably about quick. But again, it was too hot, so it was trying to fan out a little bit.
Yeah.
So essentially, when you start,
Yeah.
you just kind of like just get comfortable, and it is a drag process. So you can touch, and you just slowly work your way down.
So you're aiming to hover this above the steel, or just...
You can, but I just touch.
Okay.
So you can have it like about 1 or 2 minutes off,
Yeah.
but to keep that consistent is quite difficult for someone learning.
Uh-huh.
So, and you can do, I've seen people do loads of specific patterns, but I just prefer just a straight, just drag,
Yeah.
and I just follow the toe of that.
So would it arc if I touch it now?
Yeah.
It's quite long, isn't it, this rod?
Push down now, push down now. Push down now, keep pushing down, keep pushing down, keep pushing down, keep pushing down. That's it, keep pushing down, off. That's it, keep down, keep down. That's it, perfect, perfect. Just down, yeah, keep it down. Perfect, perfect, down. Keep it down. Down.
Yeah, it gets through the rod quick, doesn't it? Yeah, I hadn't expected that. Okay.
Not bad for a first ever attempt.
Well, yeah.
Seen a lot worse.
I see what you mean, yeah. So you really are feeding it in. So
To be
you actually
fair,
need to feel it.
That
touch
still
it.
seems quite hot for something that should be about right. That seems quite hot. And that's why I said wear the goggles, because what happens is you just strip that off. And it goes straight out, and it always will find the ice. But it's for a first ever attempt then, I've seen a hell of a lot worse. I've done a lot worse.
You do have to push in. Don't you?
So what I did was drop it. The issue is it makes starting, the lower the amperage you go,
Doesn't it strike up?
is you're going to find it want to try and snuff this off out.
Right, I'm not going to say I've got the hang of it quite yet, but it's slowly getting there. It's amazing how quickly it eats through the rod though, so I just kind of, you kept on saying go lower or lower.
Yeah.
I think it was hovering a bit too much. Where it's thinner, that's just where I either sped up or lifted
Yeah.
up.
Normally it's fan out when you lift up, so it's probably just more where you sped up. Normally you have two plates, so essentially it'd sit like that.
Yeah.
So it'd be a lap that way and a lap that way, but it's going to give you a little bit more the next stage of the evolution of welding. Get that hold. How much did you pay for this tin, roughly?
What, the welder?
Yeah.
180.
Oh, it's a really small machine, really nice machine. It's that price.
When you think like what you can do with a welder, it's quite a small investment, isn't it?
No, it really.
You could spend that on bolts. If
Easily.
you're in drill bits.
Easily. I mean, really, like I've used the TIG machines, like the higher end TIG machines.
Yeah, I noticed that they sell like they have a lot of really expensive, like around £1,000 mark, but the only 2 stick welders they have are
really,
under 200 quid.
They're nice machines. So this is a lap weld.
Yeah.
And essentially it's just to build up hand-eye coordination for the evolution of welding, really. That's what it's for. It's just to get your hand into it.
So you're still just dragging?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm going to try and hit 50% on there, 50% on there ideally. No, it wasn't posse. Nuts, it was posse.
How do you mean?
I thought I had air holes in the weld.
Okay.
Because there was a few air holes on the slag there.
Yeah.
But it was a false alarm.
And that's caused by?
Air ingressing into the molten metal.
So if we were to use a different rod, like the 70, what they call, would that look any different?
The 60-30 is generally a smoother weld appearance, and usually the slag detaches quite easily.
Yeah.
Usually.
So I know we haven't got onto it yet, but a second pass on this, you'd be aiming for the same and going over the top.
About there.
Yeah.
I'd run the bead along the bottom, and it'd be about roughly halfway, all the way through.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Take slag off. Which, to be fair, the slag will come off a lot easier on this pass, and then that one just fall along the top of that.
So it would take 3.
Yeah.
So
That's how I was doing the weld.
Keep it down. Slow down a little bit. Keep it down. Keep it down. Push off and just bring it up. That's it. So keep it down. Keep it down.
Yeah. Well, that's frustrating. I knew what I was doing wrong as well.
But virtually, from there to there, without the little imperfections, is virtually like a good sized weld.
So from a farm perspective, that's
that
strong enough.
That would be fine. I mean, obviously, you could feather that out with the grinder. You could repair it, but my welds are a little bit oversized.
Yeah.
But what you've got there is probably the right rod diameter.
Okay.
Usually that's a good indication of a good weld. Usually.
Well, when it comes off?
Yeah.
And then I'll let you clean it off.
Yeah, it's what.
That has re-melted the first weld, isn't it?
Yes.
Done a bit of a flat sort of basic, get the hang of it, and we've done the lap weld.
Yes.
So now we're going to have a go at a T weld. Is that right?
T-fillet, yeah.
T-fillet weld. So like you would if you were welding anything on a right angle here, go in there.
90% of welds are T-bits.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much.
Oh, I guess even if you're joining 2 bits of box, it's the same thing, isn't it?
If you weld it, yeah, 2 bits of box. If you're doing square on, that's a butt weld.
Yeah.
But if it's in the shape of a T,
Yeah, in the corner.
They normally class it as a T for the weld.
And would this be more than one pass normally?
For that size, depending on application, I'd one pass it.
Yeah.
With a 3.2, I'd one pass it.
Yeah. Let me have another go before you lay into me on that one.
This is why a lot of people, as soon as they learn to weld, they tack 2 bits of metal together, try it, and then get disarmed.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't show people that first. So your actual weld profile is pretty good. It is even-ish. You sped up a little bit there. That, I'm not really sure. I should have probably been watching, but I was doing more for listening, so I could hear that when you hit that, so it was perfect.
Yeah.
And it started going a little bit strange here. I'm not sure if that was down the rod angle or you sped up too much to compensate for the heat. Maybe you saw that and tried to speed up perhaps.
Yeah.
That there is ideally what you want.
Okay.
That's like a perfect size for a 3.2
Yeah.
weld.
So if I edit the video now and just crop it in a bit and get you saying that, I'm done, aren't I?
Oh dear, we've got a certified YouTube welder. Oh dear.
So this is a vertical weld, and I don't really need to be learning that today, but Dave's just going to show me kind of just so I get a feel for the speed and pace and how it all works. So what's the hardest thing about going vertical then?
It's that.
What, when
Just
it blobs?
coming to the end, it always wants to roll over. But these here, it seems this machine runs, either these rods run really hot,
Yeah.
or the machine runs hot.
So what did you call the first bit? A root?
A root.
That's just when you're putting in the first bead.
First bead. And it's not too bad because the slag's starting to crack a little bit in places, but it's not perfect by a stretch.
So the mill scale probably...
It's probably causing a
causing a few
little bit
issues.
of an issue, but
Yeah.
I'm not used to the machine and I haven't welded with 60 footings for like 7 years. But
So we've come down to what,
it's about
70 out?
It's about 70. I was quite far out when I started. 106. I should have realised.
So when we were on the flat, we were
Yeah,
about
I would weld vertically with low hydrogen at around 150 now for 3.2 welding rods.
that. Okay.
2.5. This is kind of like vertical for 2.5s. Within thereabouts. So
Yeah.
it didn't quite weld the way I wanted to, but it's still not too bad.
It's amazing when you watch it. It does. It's almost like candle wax, isn't it? It's rolling back.
It's-
It's so hot.
It's gravity and the heat, and it. As I said, these are a base welding rod. I mean, if you buy more up the welding rod sort of level, they tend to have faster freeze slag properties and make welding in position easier.
Okay. Right, I think I've kind of got the bare bones of it, and I should be able to like crack on and get some more practicing done this week. We've got a few things I need to do, some cleats on the railway sleeper walls, and also some little sort of amendments to post and rail bits where fencing joins onto steel gate posts. But I think I feel a little bit more secure about doing things. It's good to hear that Dave thought this was decent enough for everything I need to do. So shout out to Artec, where we bought that from. And I'm going to try some different rods as well, because although these were what was available at the time from the same place, there are better brands, so that should help apparently. So what we're going to do now, just to finish off today, is a proper nice little farm bodge. We've managed to rob a couple of old gate pins and hinges and stuff like that, because the top of the barn, the top door where it's been extended up, is flapping around in the wind. It's a bit dangerous, so hopefully we can tap these in place and just hold that until we get on and do any major work to that barn. Well, it's not a bodge. You can do better than bodge. It's a bodge plus. So that top...
It's a professional bodge.
Professional bodge, certified bodge. The top section of this central door, which has been extended to get combines in and things like that, flapped around because it had nothing holding it in. So where we've got hinges on all these doors that you can see here and here, and there's one there, where they've extended it up, there's nothing there. So that's where we've robbed those little bits off an old gate, and we're just gonna put a hinge there as a sort of temporary solution to hold that in, and then this corner here should be held up okay. We just pushed it in, put a batten in there, so it's held where we want it, and hopefully the hinge is the answer. Your one there, that is, how does that differ from what we've just bought?
Just a bit different technology, isn't it?
But you do MIG on that as well?
Yeah, I can put external wire feed on it.
You can't do that on the stick motor that I've got?
No and yes.
Because that wouldn't power it. Does your wire feed have its own power supply?
Yeah.
Okay.
This company, they make that unit that will power a wire feeder as well.
Yeah.
But this one needs either 240 or 110 power supply to a separate wire feeder. The reason I use that is because if the wire feeder goes down, or the wire feeder packs up, I still got a stick and TIG plant. And if I don't need to have a MIG plant, I don't have to take all the wire and take all the apart. I could just detach it and go off on my merry way.
ESAB a good one, are they?
ESAB are well known in the industry, yeah.
Right, success. The old hinge is doing its work. It opens fine and it's not going to bang around in the wind too much. And I just need to put a little bolt up the top corner. But I'm not going to be driving combine harvesters in and out, so we should be alright. Dave's also just given me some of the rods that he was using, which are the same as what we were using in there. No, they're not. They're 2.5s, aren't they? But
same class, 60-30.
60-30. What does that even mean, 60-30?
It means it has 60,000 pounds per square inch.
Yeah.
And the
Oh,
one
of
is,
strength.
I think the 1 is position and 3 is the composite of the flux, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, the 60.
So that's why the 70.
The 70 series are a bit stronger. They're
Stronger.
70,000.
Either way, because these are like the top of the range fancy ones, I might do some tests with these against the ones I bought and just see what the difference is, because these are what they're advertised as being easier to use, and also the slag comes off easier and things like that. So there we go. Time to experiment another day. Kit wise is what we were talking about just now. I know you're a big man on PPE, so that's a good shout.
No.
Jacket
Yeah,
was one thing.
leather jacket, decent gloves.
Yeah.
Best helmet you can afford at the time.
And now we've got a safe-ish gate on the barn, so that's good. We'll leave it here. Hopefully I'm going to get on and do the cleats. I've got some like brackets and things to weld on around the farm, so I feel like I've got enough info and power to be dangerous now, so we'll crack on with it. You have Instagram account and a YouTube channel, but you can't remember exactly what they are, which is good, so I'm going to leave them down in the description and then someone can find them. But I think the biggest highlight of the day is the fact that your t-shirt tells very much the truth. It's good. Dave actually showed up to his current job's interview, is that right?
No, the one in between that.
Did you get the job there?
Yeah.
Right, thank you all for watching. Remember, if you can, do it yourself. Find yourself someone like Dave to do it for you, and we'll see you next time.